20 companies building real robot brains. Combined market cap over $4 trillion. But 90% of these brains can't even command your Roomba. Today we only talk about the ones that think, not the ones that walk. #20 Juoshi Tri-Core. 3-brain architecture, System 1 fast reflex, System 2 deep reasoning, System 3 value alignment. Simpler ENV and Libero benchmarks beat Pi0 and GR00TN1. 5. But leaderboard scores are lab scores. Lab to factory usually takes 5 years. #19 Sanctuary AI, Carbon Cognitive Architecture. 5 stacked layers, LBM, LLM, symbolic reasoning, deep learning, reinforcement learning. $14 million funding, Magna Factory Partnership. But cognition before body is philosophy, not engineering. Commercial deployment lags agility robotics by at least 2 years. #18 Generalist AI, GEN1 model. 500,000 hours of wearable embodied data, 50x physical intelligence's dataset. But data-rich, compute poor. $440 million valuation, cannot afford the GPU clusters to train a general model. This is the destiny of small and beautiful, and the cruel filter of the brain race. #17 Fourier Intelligence and Covariant. Fourier's GR1, a medical rehabilitation brain, real demand, slow market, heavy regulation. Suitable for survival, not explosion. Valuation $1-2 billion. And Covariant, after Amazon's acquisition, independence died. It became Amazon Logistics' exclusive plugin. That's Tier 3, specialized but constrained. #16 Variable Robotics, GW Series dexterous manipulation models. Valuation crossed $1.5 billion. But public information is near zero. Technical transparency is inversely proportional to valuation transparency. In embodied AI, mystery is sometimes a moat. Sometimes it's just bubble camouflage. #15 Kayangsun Intelligence. Spirit V1, 6 VLA ranked number 1 on Robo Arena, beating NVIDIA Cosmos 3 and Pi0. 5. Accumulated 200,000 hours of real interaction data, targeting 1 million hours. But data is fuel, burning cash is speed. 6 funding rounds in 2 years, nearly 5 billion yuan raised. Once iteration slows, capital patience drops to zero. #14 Zhaiping. Alpha Brain Gavla fully original architecture, 117, 7 HZ control frequency. HKC signed a 3-year, 500 million yuan order. Morgan Stanley identified it as the world's largest single order for productive humanoid robots. But 12 funding rounds in 1 year, 0 to 10 billion yuan valuation, faster than model iteration. Capital forced maturity risk is real. #13 Agibot. Go-to VLA end-to-end architecture. 100 units shipped in 2025, global number 1. But 73.6% went to research and education. Industrial applications only 9%. You're selling robot brains, but customers are buying expensive toys. Huawei supply chain is an advantage and a path dependency. #12 Tashi Robotics. AWE General Embodied Model. Pre-A round raised $450 million, valuation breaking 20 billion yuan. Meiduan and Hillhouse both bet it can bridge data, model, and physical world. But the company is young, the model unverified. 20 billion buys team pedigree, not product data. #11 Galaxia. G0 plus VLA open source model, 20 billion yuan valuation. Half-year R&D expenses equal multiples of all prior years combined, proving capability through dense open sourcing. But open source is an influence strategy, not a business model. Without hardware closed loop, even the strongest model is just a demo. #10 Galbot. Grocery VLA plus simulation to reality data. China's National AI Fund Phase Roman 3 made it the first embodied AI investment. But 21 billion yuan valuation against 0 scaled shipments. The sim-to-real gap is a 30-year unsolved problem. State money doesn't ask ROI, but the market will. #9 Obtech. Thinkerbrain China's first humanoid robot IPO. Market cap $5 billion. Over 1,000 units shipped in 2025. But cumulative losses approaching 3 billion yuan. First mover advantage doesn't equal survival advantage. Hash 8 physical intelligence. Pi 0 model only 3 billion parameters, open source, leading generalization in the field. But a brain without hardware binding is a philosopher without legs. Valuation $6 billion against near zero commercial revenue. Investors bet it becomes robotics hugging face. But influence doesn't pay the bills. Hash 7 1x Technologies. An EO home robot Redwood World model with 14 billion parameters, priced at $20,000. But autonomy is only 60 to 70%. Complex tasks rely on expert mode, human remote control. You're not buying a robot. You're buying a stranger's VR access to your home. Home complexity is 100x factory complexity. Hash 6 Skild AI. Founded by 2 CMU professors, valuation leaped 10x in 14 months to $15 billion. Claims its general brain lets $4,000 hardware match $250,000 systems. 15 billion valuation against 30 million revenue, that's a 500x price to sales ratio. One model, all robots. Academia calls it cross-embodiment transfer. Engineering calls it nobody's done it yet. Hash 5 Figure AI, $39 billion valuation. From 500 million to 39 billion in 28 months, a 78x leap. Helix VLA end-to-end model. BMW factory pilot ran for 11 months. But the European contract was lost to Hexagon. A former employee filed a federal lawsuit alleging safety standards were cut to meet funding deadlines. 39 billion equals Goldman Sachs projected 2035 total industry, TAM. A company with low single-digit millions in revenue just mortgaged an entire industry's future. Hash 4 Tesla Optimus. FSD ported directly to Optimus. Over 1,000 units deployed internally. Musk promises external sales by end of 2026, but history shows his timelines usually multiply by 2. Tesla market cap $800 billion. Optimus Brain's share is near zero. The market isn't taking it seriously yet, that's tier 1. Hash 3 Google DeepMind and Amazon. Google 2 trillion market cap. DeepMind's RT series, most influential open source robot model in academia. But Intrinsic stayed in beta after 3 years. Google feeds the whole industry but can't monetize itself. The Aristocrat's Dilemma papers first, products last. Amazon 2 trillion. RFM1 processes 3 million grasps daily across 150 warehouses. The only commercially validated robot brain at scale, not sexy but it works. Problem: RFM1 only knows warehouses. Hash 2 Microsoft and OpenAI. Microsoft market cap $3 trillion. Doesn't build robot models itself, but controls Figure and 1x brain bloodlines through Azure Cloud and the OpenAI ecosystem. This is platform parasitism. The more robot companies burn cash, the more Microsoft profits. Every dollar burned becomes Azure revenue. The perfect tax collector. Hash 1 NVIDIA, the foundational layer. Market cap $3 trillion. GR00TN1. 5 has only 2 billion parameters, yet zero-shot transfers to unfamiliar robot bodies. Over 700 enterprises train on Isaac. NVIDIA doesn't build robots, it builds the android of robot brains. Everyone pays tax to it. This is not a robot company. It's the operating system of the entire industry. 20 brain companies, only 3 paths to survival. First, like NVIDIA and Amazon, own the scenario or collect the tax. Second, like Xiping and Kaiangsun, own the data flywheel. Third, like generalist AI, get acquired. Everyone in between, living on narrative alone, will be exposed when the capital tide recedes in 2027 to 2028. Remember, in the physical world there is no demo day, only gravity day.